Fame can be flashy, but there's always more to the story. Here, we go beyond the headlines and talk about the people, patterns, and moments behind the spotlight. It's thoughtful, it's real, and it's never just surface level. Welcome to Talk Fame to Me. I'm the voice behind the fame. Hey y'all, welcome back to Talk Fame to Me with B.Lynette. If you're new here, this is where we go deeper than the headlines. We talk about what's really going on behind the fame, the power, and the cameras. Today's story hits close to home for me because this isn't just about a celebrity. This is about the media. This is about journalism. And this is about what happens when doing your job starts to look like a crime. Now, let's talk about what's been going on with Don Lemon in the days leading up to his arrest. Okay. Don Lemon has been covering a heated protest involving a church in Minnesota. The protest started because the church's pastor is allegedly connected to ICE. If you guys don't know that story, I did a video previously on this topic. People in the community feel that connection goes against what churches are supposed to stand for. There were already protesters inside and around the church before Don Lemon entered the church. I have a video showing Don Lemon walking into the church after the protest had already started. He didn't go in there to cause trouble, he went in there to report. He asked questions, he kept his voice calm, he stayed professional. From everything shown on camera, he was doing what journalists do, documenting what was happening in real time. Now, let's talk about the church, the pastor, and why people were protesting. Now, a lot of people are upset because a church is a sacred space, and that's valid. Church is supposed to be a place of peace, but here's where people feel conflicted. The pastor is allegedly tied to ICE, an agency many feel is responsible for separating families, right? So people are asking, how do you separate families Monday through Saturday and then stand in a pulpit on Sunday and preach God, love, and unity? That feels hypocritical to a lot of folks. You don't have to agree with the protesters' methods to understand why they're angry. And let's be real, protesters in churches, what do you call it? Lunch counters, they used to call it, and public spaces have been happening for decades. People protested in churches during the civil rights movements. People protested at lunch counters. Excuse me, I'm getting a little tongue tied. People protested in places that made others uncomfortable. So that's basically history. Martin Luther King Jr. led protests in spaces people once were off limits. So while many disagree with how the protest was handled, protest itself is not new. Now let's talk about Miss Nicki Minaj. Now here's where things turns into like a media frenzy, okay? Nicki Minaj publicly called for Don Lemon to be arrested over this situation. Not criticized, not corrected, but arrested. And not long after that, Don Lemon was arrested and later released tonight. That's where a lot of people started feeling uneasy because whether you like Don Lemon or not, calling for a journalist to be arrested for covering a story is pretty dangerous, okay? Don Lemon was taken into custody and later released. After his release, he spoke publicly about what happened. His husband was also present at the courthouse in downtown Los Angeles, which shows this wasn't some small misunderstanding. This had real weight and real stress attached to it. This wasn't Don Lemon being reckless. This was Don Lemon being present. And let me say this clearly. We stand with Don Lemon because he's media and I'm media too. If this can happen to a journalist who has been in the game 30 years, it can happen to me. It can happen to independent reporters. It can happen to bloggers, creators, and citizen journalists. Okay. That's why this matters. Now, let's talk about why I feel like this should concern all of us. This is bigger than Don Lemon. This is about whether journalists can safely do their jobs when covering uncomfortable stories. It's about whether powerful people can use their platforms to call for reporters to be arrested. It's about whether asking questions is now treated like causing harm. You can disagree with how protests are done. You can feel churches should be respected. Two things can be true at the same time. But reporting on what's happening is not a crime. So now let's watch a few of these clips together. You'll see Don Lemon entering the church after the protest has already started. You'll hear how he questioned people calmly and professionally. After that, I really want to know what you guys think, okay? So let's find a few of these videos. All right, now right here, I'm going to show you guys a video of Don Lemon predicting that Trump and the DOJ would find a way to charge him after the judge rejected the charges.
What is the latest?
You tell me. With this administration, you don't know. Look, I'm not naive. I think they're probably going to try again and again, as they did with Tish James and Comey and everyone. If one doesn't work, then they try something else, and that fails, and they try something else, and then they just don't give up because they want to save face. But I don't know what's next. I think what's next is that I have to be in it for the long haul, and just to be strong as always, and keep calm and carry on.
Because this federal magistrate judge said that they didn't have a case. Basically, the Department of Justice said that they didn't have a case. I mean, the judge said the Department of Justice didn't have a case. But you think that it's not over?
No, I think it's not over. Because it doesn't matter if there's no law to fit. They will try to fit or retrofit something or go around a judge and just do it themselves. And it doesn't matter. And everything that they say pertains to protesters. I was not a protester. It's very clear about that. If you look at all the evidence, I'm not a protester. And so I think, Allison, not that I think, I know, I was the biggest name. And so if they get a Don Lemon, woohoo, that's a victory. And also, I'm the one who put the information out there.
Wow, wasn't he right? Now, here is a video of his husband outside of the court. At least he have support. All right. What's next? Let's go up here. Okay, so right here, this is 1 second. Uh-oh. This is Georgia Ford. This is what she had to say after she was released. And this is another journalist that was charged and thrown in jail. And she feels as if her First Amendment rights were violated.
Or not. I should be protected under the First Amendment, just like all of the journalists who I've been advocating for, too. I've been advocating for mainstream media journalists who have been brutalized for months. Do we have a constitution? That is the pressing question that should be on the front of everyone's minds. And so to everybody who showed up today, thank you. Please continue to support the other people who are being charged. Obviously, because there's ongoing litigation, there is not much that I can say beyond what I'm saying now, but amplifying the truth, documenting what is happening in our community is not a crime. And the questions that were asked a few weeks ago on a Sunday morning by concerned community members, those questions still need to be answered. And as a journalist, I am committed to continuing to follow the story until their questions are answered.
Wow. All right. Now let's talk about Nicki Minaj. This is the video. Actually, it's not a video, it's a post from Twitter. This is Nicki Minaj stating that she is finalizing her citizenship paperwork as we speak. So you guys can read that. Actually, I'll read that. Residency. The COPE is coping. Finalizing that citizenship paperwork as we speak, as per my wonderful, gracious, charming president. Thanks to the petition, I wouldn't have done it without you. Oh, Citizen Nika, you are the moment. Gold Trump card free of charge. Here is the gold Trump card, which is supposedly her stay card for her citizenship, but it was later debunked by the White House, saying that it is not worth anything. It is a souvenir. So, welp to that. Next, let's talk about, okay, so you know that Don Lemon and Nicki Minaj was going back and forth before his arrest. And this is what Nicki Minaj had to say.
You called for Don Lemon's arrest over his church stunt in Minneapolis. He's since called you racist, unhinged, homophobic, and out of your depth. Anything you'd like to say to Don Lemon?
Cocksucker, stop.
Okay. Now let's go to something with a little more depth. Here is Don Lemon speaking out after he was released.
Look, I want to thank everybody for their support. It truly means the world to me. I have no idea what's going on because obviously I haven't seen anything. I've spent my entire career covering the news. I will not stop now. In fact, there is no more important time than right now, this very moment, for a free and independent media that shines a light on the truth and holds those in power accountable. Again, I will not stop now. I will not stop ever. Last night, the DOJ sent a team of federal agents to arrest me in the middle of the night for something that I've been doing for the last 30 years, and that is covering the news. The First Amendment of the Constitution protects that work for me and for countless of other journalists who do what I do. I stand with all of them, and I will not be silenced. I look forward to my day in court. Thank you all.
All right. Don Lemon is free. All right. So while we're here on X, let's go to my profile because I want you guys to see Don Lemon. 1 second. This is actually my first time. Okay, there we go. I don't go on Twitter on the computer. All right, let's get to the video that I posted of Don Lemon. Oh, let's listen to this. This is Busta Rhymes supporting Don Lemon, and this is what he had to say.
Don't gotta talk. Hello, Shade Room. Don don't gotta talk. I'ma talk. Proud of Don. We proud of Don. We gonna advocate for Don. That's right. We need to protect Don at all costs. He's doing his job in the divine alignment way. We salute him for that. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you.
I know that's right. All right, that's Nicki at the Trump event. All right, where is the video that I posted? Give me 1 second. Let's find this video. Because I actually did some research and I recorded it and posted it. Oh, it's not here. Hold up. Why wouldn't it be here? Okay, guys, obviously it disappeared, which is a little weird. But what I will do is I will post it on my YouTube channel as a short so you guys can watch that, okay? Now, let's go back to Don Lemon. Put his picture up here on the screen. Breaking: Don Lemon has been released without bail after the church protest arrest. All right, so I got a few questions for my audience. Do you think Don Lemon was wrong for entering the church to report? 2, do you think journalists should be arrested for covering protest? 3, where do you think the line is between respecting sacred spaces and exposing what's happening inside them? You don't have to agree with me. This is a safe space as long as you're respectful, okay? I would love to hear from you guys on what you guys think about the whole situation. So drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's have a real conversation. Like, share, and subscribe if you care about media freedom and honest reporting. And remember, I'm the voice behind the fame. This is Talk Fame to Me with B.Lynette. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.